Welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Semi. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
Doing doing all right, you know? Uh it's been a really busy week for me, but things remain exciting and I'm learning a lot. Um it's been a busy week. I'm excited about coding tonight.
Oh, always excited about coding.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited for the special thing about forms that we're going to be doing tonight. Um, yeah, are there any announcements that we want to share tonight before we get started?
Um, I would just mention that we have an event every week. Every Thursday, you can come in and get live help through our meetup group.
Yeah, you can come in with any kind of computer programming question, and we have a lot of expertise. We don't know everything, but we will help you, and we do our best to help anybody who comes in with any kind of question.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be this coming Thursday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. And you can visit codewhatever.us, or you can visit you can find us on Meetup and other places too. So let's see. Should that so we're going to be doing that in a week. We'll also be doing on our stream. We'll be doing a stream where we explore the Python koans. And I think that's either in a week or 2 weeks. We'll double check. But we're going to be exploring the Python koans as well. And so and do it in a way that we could do it as a group together in a new kind of novel way. So that'll be coming up soon too. And so tonight we're going to explore forms. Do you want to start, Semi, or do you want me to start? What would you prefer?
You can start.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to be programming tonight on a terminal. And so I'll be using Emacs, but Semi is also going to be programming on Visual Studio Code. And so you'll be able to see this both in the terminal and the modern way. So let me pull this up and we'll get going. Okay. So oh, actually, I just remembered I've got to do the special thing with the terminal here.
I'll take your time.
Okay, let me actually just very quickly fix this. One sec. I'll be right back. Or actually, let me just hold. Let's do it. The hardest part. Excuse me. The hardest part about using StreamYard is
Oh,
actually,
BA, we can't hear
or any
you.
of these applications, is that like sometimes the features you're using require like Google Canary.
1 second, folks.
I forget about things like that sometimes. Okay. So here we are. What do you notice? And if you're in the audience, feel free to
Oh, now I hear you.
hi, welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Can you all hear me? Am I audible? Am I audible? Can you hear me? Okay, cool. Okay, great. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're just here. What do folks notice? Feel free to share in the chat what you're noticing, or we'll just do it together too. What do you notice? Does anyone notice anything?
So I noticed that you are typing ls a lot.
What am I inputting over and over again? So
why
are you inputting over and over again? Yeah. I keep typing ls and I press enter, and then I just have then it brings the same thing again. And I'm going to press enter now again too. What do you notice now too?
Now I see that you are typing out touch.index.html.
Oh, wait. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear. You're fine. You sound good.
I think they're...
Wait, can you hear me?
And I notice, yeah. So I notice Owen saying, why are you inputting ls over and over again? Yeah, so there's a puzzle here of why am I inputting it over and over again? And then, yeah, wouldn't it list out the file? Yeah, so if I do it again, what do you notice now?
Owen said audio is all good. And I noticed that there's a file there.
If I do it again, yeah, what do you notice now? Before we had mentioned that if I do it, it's supposed to list the file. Oh, yeah. So, okay, so now the term, after I inputted touch and what do you notice about the touch index.html? Is there a connection? Like, does index.html appear many times?
You broke up there at the end. Does index.html?
I don't know. Is there something weird? Let me check something. My audio might be weird, and I might be having trouble hearing Semi. So I'm just going to come back really quickly. I'm sorry about this, everyone.
All right. If you can hear me, how is everybody doing tonight?
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, now I hear you. I don't know. I think there was something weird in Google Canary that was going on. I'm sorry about that, everyone.
I asked while you were gone. I asked if how everybody was doing tonight, and Safburn said great.
Oh, awesome! Thanks everyone for staying with us and dealing with these technical difficulties. So yeah, let me share my screen again. Thanks everyone. Gosh, isn't technology hard sometimes?
No, we love technology.
What'd you say?
We love technology, even though it never works.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Yeah.
There was the Viennese critic Karl Kraus. He was a satirist, I think. He said, psychoanalysis is the disease of which it purports to be the cure. And sometimes I wonder if that's true as well. The technology is the disease of which it purports to be the cure.
Yeah, there's a lot of over-engineering that goes on.
Seriously. But I actually, can I is it an audience? If you tell me to not do this, I'm not going to do it. But may I digress? I know that's a dangerous foray for all of us. If I digress, we might never come back.
I say go ahead.
Yeah. I had a vision today that actually I want to use more accounts on my computer. Like I use very few accounts on my computer. And I was thinking about it. I'd actually like to have accounts that are closer to the different purposes that I use a computer for. And use that as a way to organize my computer, because it seems sometimes like when you have a mega account that everything like gets separated from purpose and it's easy to like get into a million different things. What do folks think? How do folks use computer accounts? Like, do you usually have like one account or many accounts?
I have my one Microsoft account, and that's what I use to log in to like my laptop. That's where my password is connected to.
Yeah.
I never considered ever using multiple ones though.
Yeah, for me it's and I notice Sapphire and Red they say I feel that, BA. It's like just on my computer, I've always had a login that has my dead name in it, and I haven't changed that yet. And so it's like I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and I know that like having simplified accounts is kind of the Unix way. So I've been thinking about that. It's been on my mind, and we might do a series about that at some point, possibly. That might be something we choose to explore if people are interested. So when we last left off, I was pressing LS. Does anyone in the room know what I'd have? Yeah, Sapphire and Red says, I like to have my things organized in a perfect world, but I usually have it in one. Usually have it in one file or account. Ah, okay. Yeah. I think that's very normal, right? Because we want to centralize things. But then sometimes it's like, okay, you have an account and you're doing these things in the account and they get so mixed up with everything else that you'd be better off just having multiple accounts open at once rather than like usernames in a system, like in a Linux or Unix system. So I've been thinking about that. It's interesting. And but here we have this file. So I'm going to open this. I'm going to now. What do you notice now? What do you notice now? And what do you notice now? After I pressed enter. Yeah. So, Sapphire and Red says, we've gone in a new format. Okay. So now I've got this new file made in a text editor, and I'm going to pass to Semi now.
All right. I'm going to share my screen. So I just want to show off the end goal here. Here is my personal website, and if you come down to contact, you can see the contact form here. And I can enter in a name. Let's go with Jen. An email address. I'm just going to put in a dummy one for now, or a fake one for now. So hey@a.com. And we're going to type in a test message. And you should be able to see. So if I come over here to, sorry. It's taking a minute to load, but coming over here, an email was sent. You can see that an email was sent to my inbox, and you can see that it says the test message, but it's the test message from earlier. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that in the code editor. VA is showing in the terminal. And I'm going to start off with some boilerplate code really quick. So what does everybody notice here?
I notice it says exclamation point doc type HTML.
Right?
I notice it says HTML leg N. I notice it says had made a char set UTF-8. Oh, I'm gonna play the role of somebody who knows less than I do, just so you all know.
A comment.
I see it says, what'd you say?
Oh no, I saw we had a comment, but it's an old one.
Let's see. I notice it says meta name viewport, and viewport is in quotes, and there's an equal sign between the name and the viewport. I see content equals quotes with dash device dash with comma space initial dash scale dash 1.0 quotes, and then I see a greater than sign. I see the words title twice, wrapped in less thans on the left and greater thans on the right. And Sapphire and Red says, Semi, could you make the text larger by any chance?
Sorry. I will do that. $20 should be good. Let me know if this is too small.
Thanks, Semi. Yeah. And I'm going to show in
Perfect.
case Sapphire, do you want to contribute too, or if you notice anything that I didn't notice, feel free to share anything if you'd like. I think there's some things I didn't notice. But if not, I'll also say I notice that on line 7, there's a less than, a slash, the word had, and a greater than. And I see there's also the same thing except without the slash on line 3. And I see the word body. And that's also on line 8. And I see that body, the second body, has a slash in front of it after the less than sign. You're going to see a less than and a slash HTML and a greater than sign.
And I'll just, okay, Sapphire and Red says, okay, I'm noticing some meta tags. Some ones I would usually expect to see. And some ones I would usually expect to see. What did you expect to see? Which ones do you expect to see? Head, body, doc type. All right. And I can move on a little bit. Unless anybody has any questions, let me know.
Yeah. Are there any puzzles folks are noticing at this stage?
And the meta chart set and meta name is new to me.
Yeah, what happens if you take away, if you load this page and you take away the meta char set? What might happen? What does the page look like when it's loaded?
Load it over here instead of over here. So this is a page while it's loaded.
Mm-hmm. And if you get rid of the meta char set, what happens if you delete the meta char set? What do folks notice? Looking. Did anything change or did nothing change?
I could put it back too.
Let's put it back. Looks like again now.
So it's reloaded. You can see down here it's reloaded.
Yeah, do we see? So maybe we don't know what it does yet. I wonder what happens if we run this in the W3C validator. Would it say anything in the validator, do you think? Yeah.
So I'm gonna run it once with this extra stuff here and once without.
What do you notice?
Oh, that's more readable.
And if you're in the audience, feel free to share what you notice if you're new.
It looks all to check out based on the validator. Yeah. And if I run it without, I honestly don't know what's going to happen.
What do you notice now? I see Sapphire and Red says same input or same output. So maybe we'll keep exploring this puzzle as we go. But right now, yeah, different input, same output. But so far, does this look any different when we add it or remove it? I'm hearing different input, same output. So right now we can't tell if it makes any difference or not. So this is our current boilerplate. And if anybody's in the audience and is trying to follow along and needs any help, if you get behind, you can ask me and I can help out too, and go to the folks in the audience who need help. If anybody falls behind.
So I'm just going to type this out. What do people notice up here? Just for new people in the audience.
Yeah, if you're new in the audience, feel free to share what you notice. And
so I noticed that we have in a couple of H1, the word H1 wrapped in these angle brackets in the word HTML form.
And
if I change it,
yeah, I noticed it said on the page before HTML form. And now it says my HTML form.
all right, so I'm going to stop it there and pass it back to BA. Add a new heading on the web page, yes.
Oops, sorry. A new heading on the web page. So, oops. Yeah, so now I'm going to share my screen. And here's my boilerplate. Does anyone notice if this is the same, different, almost the same, or is there something different, or is there like the same or different? Those are only two. I guess those are only two choices. I hadn't thought of it that way. It's almost the same. Yeah. Yeah. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to now also what do you all notice so far? What do you notice here? What do you notice here?
We have, it's almost the same, just missing a meta tag. You're adding a new heading.
Yeah. And what do you notice over here? Like I notice that there's lots of, it says starting up HTTP server and serving dot. And I notice a few other things here too. Like it says available on. And I notice that it has these numbers with dots and colons separating them. And Sapphire and Red says there are some things that are responding and some are disabled. Some things that are responding and some that are disabled. Yeah. Like we have cores. It says cores : disabled. And we could even and if I just press the refresh button here, what do you notice? In a terminal. So now, oh yeah, go ahead.
You said cores refresh. I noticed that. I may have missed it. I thought when you said cores refresh.
Mm-hmm. Oh, with the oh, I think I hit the refresh button, and then I also what was there? There was cores disabled.
One says in the terminal there are some things that are responding and some that are disabled.
Yeah, they're disabled. Yeah, and so as we're exploring this now, I'm going to add a little more. And as I'm typing, feel free to call out what you notice.
I noticed that you're typing out the words form, method, post. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, so you noticed I typed out the word form and method post. And Now if I save, so I'm holding down the Control X key here in Emacs and then the Control S key. And you might note, and feel free to call out what you notice here. And then if I refresh, what do you notice? And what do you notice now? Make it larger. What do you notice?
I'm giving the chat a second to respond. But yeah, I see a box that you can type in.
And Sapphire in red says a new input box. So exciting. So and I'm holding down the Control key and pressing X, and holding the Control key as well, and keeping the Control key held down and pressing S. What do you notice? Did the screen change? Did it stay the same?
Is holding down the Control key and pressing X, is that a way of saving it?
So that's an interesting. Oh, and Owen says genuinely, haha, in terms of excitement, I imagine. So you said, is that a way of saving it? So yeah, like let me try again and see what you notice. So I'm gonna delete a little bit and then retype. What do you notice?
Said it wrote to the file. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll let the audience say something.
No, it's okay. Like, part of the fun of this, I think, really is that, like, even though we're both facilitating learning and helping people learn, like, we're also keeping the learning flowing so people can, enjoy it as well. And maybe sometimes you'll even notice when one of us is learning for real, because sometimes we are learning for real on this show because you're always learning. And so we're just blurring the line between teaching and learning and being a student. So now I'm going to move my mouse over and refresh. What do you notice now? Yeah, what do folks notice? Okay, so Sapphire in red says, so now the form box has a label. Yeah, and is there anything, like, in terms of the way things are typed out that's interesting to you in the code? Like, what do you notice in terms of the way things are typed right now? Do you see any rules or any patterns here so far? Maybe we don't yet. But even just, like, for instance, I'll give an example. I notice that.
Well, I think.
Oh, you go.
Oh no, I think Owen is like typing.
Okay, yeah, let's give it a sec.
Yeah.
Let's give it a sec. Owen says, I am seeing a lot of patterns. A lot of them are general ones in HTML. Yeah, like, and feel free to be specific about it if you want, you know, like, if you want, like what specifically is one, is there anything new, or would you say they're mostly old patterns you've seen? And if you want to be specific about what about those patterns, is there like something general you're noticing about it, or rule you could see?
I'm noticing a lot. I am noticing content is framed by tags.
Yeah, you're noticing that. And what's a tag? Like when we say a tag, what do we mean by a tag? Some of the tags have information stored within the tag. Say more about that. Like a tag is yeah, like, and we don't even have to know precisely what a tag is, by the way. But like whatever we think a tag is, like are we talking about little bits of stuff on the page? A tag is a description of what format text would be put in. So you're saying, like, if I wanted to a little bit of text and format it one way or another, like what are some formats that are on the page currently? Yeah, what are some formats on the page currently?
And I see
Yes, so you can format text as H1, which would make it larger and bold. So you can format text, okay? Or body would make it standard text. If I type in here, what's happening here? What's this connected with? Here we're inputting text into the form, Owen says. Yeah, so we have these different, and the form on the web page. Yeah, what is, when I typed this in, what elements is this associated with? What little bits of code is this associated with? Can you tell? Like when did, and if it's tricky, I can do something that might give you a sense. Like if I wanted to make this go away, but only delete one tag, which tag would I have to delete maybe? Like if I wanted to make my name go away, what tag would I have to delete? So, and now maybe this is a trick question, but if I'm only deleting one tag, then deleting like this tag. And what do you notice? I just press Control X, Control S. Let's see. So if I delete this now, what happens if I refresh the page? And Owen says it's still there. The form is still there. If I, yeah, in fact, if I inspect it, there is no, what do you notice here? So what if that's the case, is there another tag that I could delete? Owen says about the inspector here from what I had before. I haven't refreshed the page yet, just so everybody knows. Owen says there is no form tag. So I undid backwards, and now I'm going to press Control X, Control S. What do you notice? Well, like, if you thought it was in the form, what tags are inside of form that you could delete from? Owen says, what else could you delete? And so that's why I said what I just said. Like, what elements are inside of form? Or what elements do you notice inside of form? Label and input are two tags, says Sapphire and Red. Should we try deleting one of them to find out? Which one should we try deleting first? We're going to go for input first. So let's see what happens. Oops. I just press Control X, Control S. If folks notice anything. And now I'm going to refresh. What do you notice?
Notice there is no name. There's no longer an input box.
There's no longer an input box. And Sapphire and Red says, yay. So if I undo, then I get this back. And then if I come over here and I refresh, it's there. And yeah, it was right. And Owen said the form is gone. So are there any other puzzles where we're at, or any other thoughts or anything? If not, I'm going to pass to Semi.
All right. Okay. You can hear me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue on. So just where we left off, we have my HTML form printed on screen. I'm gonna hide it. And the screen has refreshed. What do you notice there? Over what I've added.
Owen says, I am seeing a heading.
Right. So I'm gonna go ahead and type out Does anybody notice any changes so far? Or just take a second to take it in?
I don't notice any changes in the web page.
Right. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in just 2 forms.
And Owen says, okay, now input type adds a form.
Okay, now input type. I do want to say, like, what makes up the form in HTML? Is it, I guess a question I can ask is does this make a form? Like, is this standalone? I were to take it and put it out here and get rid of all this. Is this a form? Or if I were to just leave it there, does this
Yeah,
make
what,
a
so which of these makes it a form?
Yeah, does just having a single label or input make it a form? Like, what makes it a form?
Do folks remember what happened last time we had an input without a form? So Sapphire and Red says, does the form action start the form? You need all the pieces?
I think Sapphire is asking, do you need everything? Or do you just need this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how would we be able to test or experience?
I think
What?
we would need a working form.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Something we can explore in a little bit.
So we've got a, but this is a good, this is a good puzzle, right? Like when we've got a working form, we might be able to see what this puzzle gets us to.
So what do you notice now that I've added in this? Yeah, it added in description text left, and I can go ahead and
Owen
do that
says,
here.
very cool.
Right. Just one more thing I can add in. Remember, our goal is to get it looking like what was on semi.space. I'm just going to throw that in there. So check that out.
Yeah, what do folks notice?
What do you, oh, you beat me to it.
Sapphire Red says, this is so cool.
Just so you guys could see the entire piece of code, because it's kind of small.
There's a way you can break up an HTML line too.
Yeah, that's true. Let me actually do that. There we go. Didn't you notice just, oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't reading chat. I'm noticing some descriptors of how many rows and columns the form could take up. So you can add all of the stipulations you want to the form. Just tackling the first comment. Descriptor of how many rows and columns. Yep, we can change the X and the Y. So I can make it that thin, that tall. I can make it kind of look like I am noticing a new tax area. A new tag. Are there any puzzles about this tag here, the text area tag?
I'm wondering, I see after required,
Right?
I see a greater than sign right after required, and then I see another one there.
Another one here.
Is that like on the line before, at the end of line 20, there's a greater than there? And I'm wondering at the end of line 20 what happens if you delete the greater than. Oh, interesting.
We get an error. I wonder what happens if we check the inspector. No, we don't see anything, but
Okay, that's my own goofiness. Thank you for humoring me.
You're welcome. I'm gonna put that back.
Yeah.
And restart. What a nightmare. Yeah. Okay, so all the text after the text area required part. Okay. Yeah. Yes, so it is one tag. Everything after this, just one tag. Oh, one question I can ask. What's a similarity between the way this tag works and the way this tag here works? Or even this one and this one. What are you noticing between here, here, and here?
I've got my window open right now, and I think my neighbors have like a woodwind band that's playing outside right now, like flutes and tubas and all sorts of things, and they're playing really nice music too. It's really kind of cute.
I wish we were streaming a little bit earlier. You can hear the birds. Yeah. I am noticing there's text in between the tags. Woodwind band, OMG.
Yeah, that doesn't usually happen. I don't know what's going on. Birds, yeah, I've got birds too.
Yeah, I live in a very tree dense area, so you're gonna hear birds, you're gonna hear squirrels and barking and everything. Yeah. Okay, back to it. So you're noticing a lot of text in between the tags. What I notice is that we have an end tag and we have a starting tag and an end tag, but we don't have that here. So I want to show you what would happen if I did put it for these two. I think these are the only two tags on the page that don't have it. What do you notice between this one and this one now that I've added in one of these other tags?
Sapphire and Red says the two form boxes look the same to me.
Right. So the two input boxes look the same, but if I deleted it, it also looks the same. So I'm just gonna move on with that. We're getting a couple of messages. I see. And I'm gonna go ahead and add in another part to this form. And I'm just gonna delete this part. Ignore that. What do you notice now? What is depending on the type of tag? I'm sorry. So it's always necessary to add in an end tag depending on the type of tag. We can test that out real quick. If I go ahead and take away this one right here, we get the error. I'm just trying to get that to zero. And if I go ahead and take away the end tag here, what do you notice now that this HTML end tag is gone? No, it's okay. I should be waiting a little bit more. I noticed that I didn't notice a change after you removed the HTML1 tag. Right. I'm going to take a look at the HTML validator we had up earlier. We can put it into there. You can see we have a couple of errors.
Yeah, what do folks notice in the validator? Maybe we should make it a little larger.
So keep in mind, this is without this end tag here. What do you notice?
One thing I notice is it says unclosed element H1. And Sapphire in red says stray tag, unclosed element.
Yeah, so I see a lot of unclosed elements. Unclosed elements again. I see that twice for the body. One for the H1, one for the body tag. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and then I see this is pretty interesting. Element form not allowed as a child element of the H1 context. That's interesting. So I'm gonna go ahead and add back in this. I'm gonna Control A and Control C. Control C. You're just gonna plot that back in. You have a stray div tag. Seems like I've all right. And this shouldn't be that. What do you notice right now with the HTML validator? Now that I've removed the H1.
I noticed back there that you just now changed. What was it you changed?
Oh, my bad. So I had this.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know when it got. Yeah, I don't know when it got changed, but this was F name, and I meant for it to be text. So my bad with that.
Well, it's a great learning opportunity for all of us.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this H1 again, and we shouldn't see as many errors.
Wait, I'm noticing H1 is unclosed here still.
I didn't add it back yet.
Oh, okay.
So it says form is a child element. It's not allowed to be a child element. We have unclosed, an unclosed body tag. We have an unclosed H1 element. If I stick it back in, no errors or warnings to show.
Yeah, I noticed it's got that green box.
Yeah. Checkbox.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any questions? Sorry for messing up there, not realizing, but that's kind of interesting. Even when we had those errors before, we still saw all of our stuff. So that's something to think about, right?
Yeah. Like, for instance, if you were programming and something looks good, does that necessarily mean that it's valid HTML? And Sapphire and Red says, oh, Lord, lots and lots of questions. Oh, feel free to put your puzzles in the chat. You know, like that helps us. Like we can look back at that in the future and see that we've got those puzzles there, or we can explore them now even. So should we explore now the finale? Or do you
I
have more?
stop working.
Oh no, you go. Then you go ahead.
So just real quick, when I come over here, we're gonna make main and a fake email. I'm gonna enter in a message. What do you notice there?
Can you make it a little larger?
Okay, so I'm struggling to figure out which text. So
Yeah, we can get to the puzzles in just a second too.
To figure out which text editor I should be using. But conceptually, I'm following what you're doing, Sunny. And then there's another one I see input and red at the bottom right. Are you talking about the one in my browser? Or I didn't see any input. You're probably talking about
What happens? What happens? What if you hit the submit button?
Okay. So I hit the submit button. It says the page settings blocked loading source image. And then it says, I can't make it any bigger, sorry, so I'll just read it. Get, it says bar 4 not found, and it's talking about get post message text test. And then we have another piece of text up here that says cannot get /post. So this is /post. I can move into fixing that, but BA, do you want to take over real quick?
You know, you could fix it if you want to, and then I'll just do the same thing you do again too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I say go for it.
So just real quick, I'm actually gonna hook up this form, make it working.
What do folks notice about this website? Like I notice it says easy form endpoints for your HTML forms and says form submit. Does anyone know what the purpose of this might be?
Easy form and endpoints. Yeah, so it also says that they noticed that it's easy form and endpoints. It offers you code to solve. It offers code to use to solve your issue.
Well, so you're noticing that it could be a solution to solving this bug that Semi got before? Is that what you're saying?
How can I access that link, Semi?
I'll pass it in the chat.
Oh, yeah. Alright, so I'm just gonna move on real quick and actually hook up this form. So right here, I'm going to, if you notice, all I have right here is post. And I'm going to take this action part of the form. Replace this bit with my code whatever email. Now this time, I'm going to hit the form, submit. It didn't work.
Yeah, if you look at the code, what do you notice in the code?
I noticed that we're missing the name and the email part here.
What about on line 15?
Oh, it's backwards. That could be it. And we also have action.
Wait.
Oh, I should have. I'll let chat say it. So now when I hit the submit button, what do we notice?
I
I
noticed
switched this from action. There's a lot of text on the right of the browser. Here we go. And then I hit submit.
I noticed it said something about method not allowed.
Right? So we have method not allowed, and we also have something we can ignore. We're missing a favicon icon, but we can zoom into the method not allowed part. And if I come back over to this website and I copy this action bit and replace this bit with my email,
I'm noticing, or what do y'all notice? I notice it says almost there. And now there's a CAPTCHA. What do you notice now? You might want to make the text a little bit larger.
I also see over here, I want to read this out, navigate it to form submit, and then it has my email in there. Navigated, and then it says navigated to formsubmit.co/form submission. So first we went to navigated to formsubmit.co/semi@codewhatever.us. Then we went to /form submission /form submission.
Yeah, and I'm noticing that it says thanks now.
And I can go back to the original site.
And I hear that Owen's got a theory that the form input will send the text from the form to your email.
So let's take a look at my email. And just real quick, it says we have a new form submission. Someone submitted to your form, and here's what they had to say. And it just says test. So that form input will send to your email. That's pretty neat. Yeah. Are there any puzzles about this?
And I remember there were some puzzles a little bit earlier too, when Owen was saying, I'm trying to figure out which text editor I should use. And Owen says, okay, so I know there are a lot of details I missed. So there's a lot of details. Well, remember that this
Well,
video is being recorded, so one could watch it again, but we're also going to do this again too. So this won't be the last time, and if you'd like to come on as a guest and explore forms with us, you're always welcome to too.
I just did the submission again.
As for the question about text editors, are there any text editors you've seen that you like here, Owen, or are there any text editors elsewhere that you've seen that you might like? Owen says, well, I know there is a Mac text editor I use. I also like the simplicity of Nano on the terminal. I want to get to know more web-based editors eventually. Are there any web-based editors that you have used before that you like? Or do you want us to off some?
I really like Repel IT.
Yeah, Replit is definitely a good standard one.
There's also set one code snippets. I don't know.
You've got a Replit saved too? Yeah, if you're doing there's some cool ones. Like for these examples with Replit, do they do much HTML in Replit? I'm trying to remember. Like for instance, there's CodePen for HTML and CSS as well. Yeah, GitHub's an interesting one because you could be using GitHub no matter what. Oh, and if you want, I could run through the last part one more time again, since I haven't added that to mine. Would that help you a little bit too? Yeah, I can, let me go again, and I'm just going to, I'll just, actually here, I'll just show you real quick. So here's my version of it again, the one that we had from before. And I'll show you again. Okay, so what do you notice so far? And I haven't hit the refresh button yet. But I'll hit the refresh button now. What do you notice? I'm noticing that you said that we added a button. Yeah, and if I was to say, hi, and click submit, what do you notice now? Owen says, I noticed there's a button in the browser now that was from before. But what do you notice after I hit submit? I'll do that again to show you. Oops. Yeah, what do you notice? And also here, I'll just show you one more version of it. And I hear Sapphire and Red saying, okay, the page is not responding. So if I type this, hit submit, what do you notice here? And now, and before I hit the submit button again, Owen said, now there is a button to submit a form on the browser. So if I come back to here and here, and feel free to share what you're noticing as I'm typing here. And what do you notice now? And this was before, when I was over here clicking submit. Oh, and it said, oh, the terminal, it is responding. Now that I've done that, and I'm going to press Control X, Control S, but it says on the inspect page is what they said. So now if I say hello, oops. Let's see.
Now Owen says now there is for the form, method, and action.
Mm-hmm. Form method equals post. Now there is a form, method, and action. And but then, okay, so I went to the site and I typed in hello. And I clicked submit. And now it's saying page isn't working. So for some reason, it's saying the post is not found. But it's saying post slash. So let's see, maybe I didn't refresh. So if I do test here, now what do you notice?
Yeah, Owen has a couple comments. I'm sorry, I keep calling you Owen. It's Sapphire and Red.
Almost there. And Owen says, no, it's fine.
Okay.
Owen is good.
Thank God.
So, okay, so now let's see if I got the email. So now what I'm going to do is let me share with you. My email is complex, so I'm going to open it up in preview. And this is for my email. What do you notice?
So I noticed that you only have the word name there.
Yeah, I only have the word name there.
Dang, 2 hours. Yeah.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So I hear Owen say the text from the form is sent in your email. The text in the form is sent in our email. Are there any other puzzles tonight? Owen says, I have learned a lot and have a lot to review. Yeah, and you know, for anything that you learn here, you can always bring it to the code lab and explore it there. You're always welcome to try these ideas out there. And we're going to keep developing these ideas in this community, and we'll be adding more and more as we go. Any last thoughts from everyone?
No last thoughts from you.
Thanks, Owen, who says, thank y'all. This has been great. This has been great sharing this. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Semi, for coming up with this curriculum tonight. This was really great. This was a semi curriculum, so this was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, we'll be back again for the stream. I think what's going to be in 2 weeks.
No, just a week.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
2 weeks. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, for the stream it'll be 2 weeks, and then for the code lab we'll be back here again, not on the stream but on Zoom, on Meetup, on Thursday. In fact, let me just post the link in here too, so folks can see it, and then and also, oops. Yes, the next code lab will be on May 2nd. And I'm going to paste the link. So next one will be on May 2nd. And you can get it on meetup.com. And also feel free to visit our website. Check out our GoFundMe. Our website is codewhatever.us. And Owen says, okay, beautiful. The meetup piece allows us to anticipate what folks are going to be bringing. But if you find a way to get in otherwise, it's no big deal. And yeah, feel free to donate to our GoFundMe. We're a 501c3, so all donations are tax deductible. In this fundraiser, we've raised over $2,298. And we also have a Twitch fundraiser too that you can donate to. That recently we just actually reached our goal of $1,000. So thank you so much to everybody for all the help that you've been offering. And thank you, Semi, for a beautiful evening as always. Thank you, Owen, for joining us and making our learning complete here tonight. I think this was a very thrilling night. So I really enjoyed it. And we'll be back with the form theme again. Semi's already thinking up incredible ideas for the next one.
Yeah. Thank you for coming, everybody in the audience. Thank you, Owen.
Yeah, thanks, Owen. Thanks so much. Thanks. Yeah, we're stoked to have you here. Thank you. All right. Well, we'll be seeing y'all soon. Anything else?
That's it for me.
I think that's it for me too. So thank you so much from all of us at Code Whatever. Thank you. This has been a lovely night. We look forward to working with you all again soon. And we'll see you next time.